Do you want to know a shocking statistic? There are about 8,000 pilot car drivers in the US, and they get per month around 650,000 load alerts on a load board, which is sent out by a broker or a carrier looking for a pilot car driver. 650,000 load alerts per month going out to 8,000 guys. It's wild. We are going to dive into this, and I'm going to give you the cold hard facts about this business. I know this sounds dramatic, and it is. This video is an update on an earlier video I did where I was forecasting what is going to happen in the pilot car business. So with that video, I want to update this because some real interesting changes have taken place. And please do me a favor. This is the way you pay me, by the way. You push the like button and you watch the video to the end. That's the only pay that I want, okay? So now, first of all, let's look at an article by Armstrong Economics, which was going into a change that the Trump administration has been engaged in. Trump's announcement of his intention to transform the US into the world's capital of artificial intelligence and what is now being called Stargate is said to be the largest project of its kind by far in history, with the joint venture between tech firms OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle. This is said to be investing $500 billion in artificial intelligence infrastructure over the next 4 years of the Trump administration. Big tech is migrating from California, and its Silicon Valley is moving brick by brick to Texas. They say 10 data centers are already under construction in the state, 10 more are on the way. And the project's first 1 million square foot data center will be based in Abilene, in Western Texas. And that is right north of San Angelo. Texas is definitely going to be the hot place in all of this. Now let's let that sink in. $500 billion investment just into artificial intelligence data centers. That is a lot of money. Most of this money is coming from the private sector, and Trump said he doesn't see any reason for the government having to invest in that because the private companies are going to make the money on that. And as I stated in my earlier article, data centers are huge energy hogs. There is no chance of getting these data centers supported by wind and solar. No way. In fact, recently Elon Musk interviewed a German politician with the name of Alice Weidel, and she is the head of a party called Alternative for Germany. And they were talking about, the energy problems that may be heading our way. The reason I bring this up is because she was talking about the fact that, the Germans are in a big predicament regarding this because they simply are not ready for that energy demand. And she then brought up solar and wind, and then Musk replied, telling her that it is absolutely correct. Solar and wind are not adequate to support these big data centers, this big energy use that's ahead of us. And they also both concluded that we have to go into nuclear energy. This is going to be happening in the United States, and it's going to be happening in Europe, and it's going to be happening in Russia and Canada and China and like all over the world. Huge data centers, huge energy demand, and the solution to that is nuclear energy. For example, the Russians are trying to build a nuclear facility that can run for 100 years, and the Americans are actually working on one right now that can run for 80 years. And then there's tons of other projects happening regarding these nuclear power plants. At the same time, you can expect oil exploration to pick up again because, Trump's saying, drill, baby, drill. And that again requires tanks, pipes, mining equipment, drilling equipment for oversized loads and for pilot cars. And then there is the chip manufacturing, which is again happening in Texas, which I covered in an earlier video, and I'm going to link to that one. Again, this is chip manufacturing, which is in itself, these are gigantic places. While all that is happening, just imagine that we had in the first Trump presidency, we had the infrastructure project. You remember that? Repair the interstate. So that totally died during Biden, and that is going to be revived again. Now, again, what does it require? You have to transport all this huge equipment like tractors, bulldozers, and whatnot that is required for that, trusses for bridges, and there is tons of money sitting there that hasn't been used during the Biden administration. So it's going to be now picked up here again. And just sort of a mentioning on the side, another sector that is kind of booming right now, which has been actually booming for years, but it is going into a higher mode, and that is mobile homes. People are buying these mobile homes like they were hot dogs. Normally, the winter months are, slow or nothing. A lot of pilot drivers just stay at home because it's not worth going out there. This year, no man. I have been driving throughout the winter. There was no stopping. There was just no stopping. And this is happening despite the fact that the oversized low traffic for the wind mills has not started. That's going to start in April, May. And just as a point, I want to correct on my earlier report where I said wind is dead. And wind is dead when it comes to government subsidies and government support. This already died down during the Biden administration, and Trump is not going to pick it up. Because, believe it or not, that sector is actually making a profit. So they make actually enough money right now to invest into their own projects. So whatever projects they started, they're going to continue, and they are probably going to start more projects. So that sector is not going to die. It's going to keep going. The rates are going to skyrocket. There are simply not enough pilot car drivers to cover this. There is especially a lack of high-pole pilot car drivers. My forecast is that we have years and years and years of high traffic in the oversized load industry ahead of us. And it's an area where we can make a ton of money. Like I said, 8,000 pilot car drivers have to deal with 650,000 load alerts every month. So what is a load alert exactly? It is some broker or trucking company sending out on the load board a message that says we need a pilot car here, there, or over there. And the reason I put that on there is because they haven't gotten one elsewhere, or they have no resources for it. There's certain pilot car drivers that do not use load boards because they have their own customers. They have their own people that give them business. So they never need to go on a load alert board. So what these load alerts are basically load alerts to a majority of the pilot car drivers, yes, but they are especially load alerts that couldn't find anybody so far. In other words, there's more load alerts than 650,000. It's just what you see there is what hasn't been covered. Do you get the picture now? So if you consider that one load can take from 1 day to several weeks, you see the crunch? There's probably people out there that tell you don't come into the pilot car industry, and I tell you one thing, that's nonsense. That's just totally nonsense. Learn how to do this job, and I give you the tools how to do this. And by the way, you learn it now being a single pilot car driver, and then down the road expand your business, get more pilot cars, make a big business out of it. I feel like shaking you by the neck and smell the coffee. Man, this is an incredible opportunity. The earlier you establish yourself, the better. So here is a playlist. Here's a playlist that will tell you step by step how to become a pilot car driver. So watch just every single video from the beginning to the end. Watch every one of these videos and you will know what to do. If you want to have a shortcut, if you want to fast track the whole thing, then click on the webinar, the free webinar below, and get your information on that.